welcome to prompt number 97. I drew a little snowman and he kind of looks stupid. Okay, here we go. All right, we have a single, oh, it's space. I love drawing space. I've actually done it a lot in the prompts. All right, here we go. So because like I said, I've already drawn space in several of the prompts, I feel like I use space as a way to fill in the space of my art. Sometimes if I don't really want to do a background or if I just want to do something silly, I do space because it's really fun. It can be colorful, it's interesting. So this time I did want to try to do something a little more focused around space, I guess. I wanted to put more effort into this being space. I wanted the concept to be the fact that it is space. So I did start off by drawing a tiny little planet that would be filled with little details, lots of little things, houses, trees, plants. And then I thought I would try to put something in space like I always do. So I thought I would start off by making an ocean in space, which was very fun. I love putting aquatic animals in space. I think it's kind of a common thing because space is floaty and so is water, so it just kind of makes sense. So then I also played around with those aquatic animals kind of going through space. Maybe a giant shark was going to consume a little planet with someone on it. I really did want to do this idea, but then I just thought that, I don't know, it just kind of seemed a little too simple and that there would be too many blocks of just like plain color. So what I ended up going with was the tiny little island in space. Island? Nope, it's a planet, Kasey. Well, I don't know. Are planets just islands in space? Okay, what makes an island? So we have a big ocean of water and an island is a little group of land, right? So it's something that's surrounded by water. So, I mean, I'm sure the answer is no, but would a planet just be an island in space? Because there's just so much space out there and it does go around the planet on all sides, technically making it an island, right? No, just stop. Anyways, let's talk about the art. So like I said, I wanted to create a tiny little planet that's just floating in the middle of space. And I really wanted to do that thing where I draw 3 or 4 illustrations and have each of them, I guess, like an elemental illustration. So I could have one planet that was really hot and fiery, one planet that was ice cold, another planet that was maybe really green and luscious with plants, and maybe one that was deserty and rocky. Oh dang, I could have done one that was like an ocean and it was see-through, but you could see all of the sea creatures through it and the space going through it. Man, that would have been so cool. Okay, so the reason why I wasn't able to do this is because honestly, I just have too much on my plate right now, which makes me really sad because like I said, I just love doing sets of illustrations like this. I get an idea and I just think that having variety and doing different sorts of versions of an illustration is just really fun, and having a set of illustrations that isn't just one standalone is just so much fun. I really enjoy doing that. And sometimes you just gotta do one illustration per video instead of a bajillion. So I thought I would keep this planet a little bit on the more generic side in the sense that it doesn't have a single theme to it like ice cold or fiery hot or something. It's a planet with some greens. There's a little patch of snow. We've got a river, mountains, rocks, stuff like that. Just a planet. I just wanted to create this tiny little planet floating that had a lot going on with it. Because when it comes to these tiny little planets, I just can't help but think, how does that work? We've got a river there running, but where does it start? How does it stop? Is it just a circle going around and around, never stopping? But how does it start flowing to begin with? The reason why rivers flow is because they start from a mountain. Sure, there's a mountain there, as you can see, but honestly, there's only so much snow to melt off the top of that mountain and have a flowing river. And then there's a flowing river, but then where's the lake? It can't keep pooling up forever. And okay, maybe there's rain, but you know what? Wouldn't this planet just flood within not a lot of time because there's not a lot of surface area? So if it started to rain, it wouldn't take much for it to start flooding and just turn into a watery planet. Look, I know I'm thinking too much about the details. I don't normally like to do that with my illustrations, but I think it's funny to analyze them and poke fun at how much things don't make sense if it's just so ridiculous, which is why sometimes when I do these illustrations that are just so fake, you want to do it to the point where it makes you question, what the heck is even going on here? And I guess that's kind of the concept I took with this planet. I wanted it to be really fun and unrealistic and just, I don't know, not quirky, but I wanted it to have a weird vibe, I guess. I wanted you to look at this and think it was kind of magical in its own way. So there's nothing super magical, it's not like there are mythical creatures or anything, but I wanted it to give a weird sense of what is this and what's happening. So I have these little sprouty plants coming out from everywhere, and what does it mean? Nothing. I just wanted it to look weird, and it makes you wonder why there are little plants coming out of everything. Why are they so big? Why are there scratches on that rock cave? Does someone actually live here? Originally, I was going to have a tent or something to suggest that someone was indeed here, a little tent with a little campfire, but honestly, I just kind of wanted to hint at the fact that there could be a creature or someone that was on this planet. I didn't want to necessarily exclusively say there are animals and there is a human here, even though I did draw fish. Whoops. I just wanted there to be a vague sort of suggestion that there were living creatures here, but I don't know what's going on. Are they primitive? Are they smart? Are they advanced? What's going on here? What's the story of this little tiny planet? Not even I know. I just want there to be curiosity with my art. I want to make someone laugh. I want to make someone smile with my art. I want them to think, what's going on here? I want them to think of their own story. I just want to suggest something is happening and not necessarily tell the full story all the time. I want to help people get creative, I guess, not only artistically, but with their ideas and stuff. Oh my gosh, look at me getting all sentimental about my art and what I want to do with it. Anyways, why is there a big hole in this planet? Why are there plants coming out of it? What is going on? Why does the ring of clouds around the mountaintop go the wrong way? After I made this illustration, I couldn't help but notice the mountain, because it's on the other side of this tiny planet, it's leaning away from you, which means the ring of clouds should be tilted the other way, if that makes sense to you. You should see the front of the clouds more closer to the top of the mountain, and then the bits that are going behind the mountain should be on the bottom. Does that make sense? I'm explaining this entirely wrong. Either way, this is a quirky little island. I think it's kind of cute. I called it an island again instead of a planet. Why do I keep doing that? It's just a fun little bright illustration. And maybe I'll go back and revisit the elemental planets in the future. Hopefully, maybe, a 500 drawing prompt will give us planet or something, and then I can do it then. Or maybe I can do it in my free time if I ever get the free time to do it. I think this illustration was also partly inspired by one of my Huevember drawings. In the green color, there was a bush, and I drew a bush. It was a very circular bush, and I put birds inside of it. And the one thing that I did do that was weird is that I put clouds going around it as if it were a planet. The original intention for that illustration was for it to be more planet-like, but then I put a bunch of birds in it and it just kind of looked like a bush. So I guess this planet illustration kind of fed that need, or I guess quenched my thirst for some sort of little planet illustration. So good job, prompt. You are just in time for my little planet needs. Oh, and even though I colored this at the very beginning of the video, when it came to the space on this one, I wanted it to be a little more colorful than usual. I think in the past I've done a much better job at creating a more realistic looking space, but like I said, I just wanted this one to be really quirky and colorful and fun, and especially when it came to the stars, they are a little bigger and chunkier than normal because I used a Posca pen, and I used a lot of those colored pens because I thought that would bring a lot more color to it as well. And yeah, that is my little planet. I hope you like it, and I will see you in the end card. Last week's prompts were figure skater and fisherman, and you guys were really creative and you got some crazy ideas. Our first featured artist is Pixie with Pins, who I might be swayed by the booty, but honestly, I just love the interpretations of the prompts. The boots are fisherman boots, you have the straps, the fishnets. I mean, come on, that's so creative. And then of course we have the skating parts of the boots. The interpretation of this one was just too good to resist featuring. Our other featured artist is Kitty So Maya, who put so much detail and effort into this illustration. We have a fish that fishes, who is watching watching fish ice skate on TV. There's just so much going on in this illustration. I just loved looking at all the little details on this one. The fact that a fish is fishing, all of this silliness, I loved it. Thank you all so much for joining, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!